What is the FLECT Voluntary Partnership Agreement, or FLECT VPA? Why do you need to know about the VPA? How will it impact you as a sawmiller, an exporter, or an Amerindian village? What are the benefits of the VPA and how can you get involved? Stay tuned as we answer these and other relevant questions on the FLECT Voluntary Partnership Agreement, or FLECT VPA, in this video.
Forests cover 87% of Guyana and remain a key contributor to the local economy. The government owns 86% of the forests. The forests of the Guyana Shield, which cover parts of Guyana, are recognized as some of the world's last remaining frontier forests. Guyana's forests are a valuable resource and home to thousands of diverse animal and plant life, some of which are unique and therefore not found anywhere else in the world.
Land owned by the indigenous population covers 1.3 million hectares of forest. The forests serve multiple land use functions and provide socio-cultural services. They are an integral part of Amerindian and local community culture, with forest resources used as sources of food, building materials, medicine, fibers for textile and weaving, and more. Also, several communities are involved in the commercial harvesting or trade of timber and use of forest resources.
Timber and non-timber forest products supports the country's social and economic growth and development. Forest contributes to employment by providing thousands of jobs, mainly in rural and hinterland areas. The Guyana forest industry consists mainly of the trade of forest products, logging, and timber processing through sawmilling operations. The industry monetary or financial requirements range from low to very high. The technical requirements range from simple to complex and sophisticated. Also, forest industries are labor-intensive and can require large amounts of financial investment for production.
The vast scale of economic, social, and environmental problems caused by illegal logging requires multi-scale efforts to stop it. This is where the EU FLECT Action Plan comes in. In 2002, the European Commission hosted an international workshop to discuss how the European Union could contribute to measures against illegal logging. In the same year, at the World Summit on Sustainable Development held in Johannesburg, the European Commission set out a strong commitment to combat illegal logging and trading in illegal timber. In 2003, the EU published its first proposal for a Forest Law Enforcement, Governance and Trade, or FLECT Action Plan, to assist its member states to combat and tackle illegal logging in collaboration with timber-producing countries. The action plan was also adopted that same year by the EU. The FLECT Action Plan, introduced to member states and timber-producing countries, began after 2003. FLECT stands for Forest Law Enforcement, Governance and Trade. The EU FLECT Action Plan sets out a package of measures to address the problem of illegal logging and related trade.
Voluntary Partnership Agreements, or VPAs as they are commonly known, are bilateral agreements between the EU and timber-producing countries outside the EU. VPAs are instruments of the FLECT Action Plan. They provide a framework that ensures that timber and timber products exported to the EU come from legal sources by helping countries curb illegal logging. The exportation of legal timber improves forest governance and regulation. Forest governance is defined as how public and private actors negotiate, make and enforce binding decisions about managing, using, and conserving forest resources. These public and private actors include formal and informal institutions, small-scale operators, indigenous organizations, small, medium-sized, and large enterprises, civil society organizations, and other stakeholders. VPAs also promote economic, social, and environmental gains.
While it is voluntary for countries to enter into a VPA, it becomes legally binding for both parties once a VPA is concluded. VPA negotiations and implementations are unique among international trade deals because they are transparent and involve multi-stakeholder participation. In 2012, a policy decision was taken to enter into formal negotiations with the EU on the VPA. A steering committee comprised of various stakeholders was formed to advance Guyana's VPA process. Negotiations of the VPA between Guyana and the European Union concluded in November 2018. The Guyana Forestry Commission leads the VPA process under the Ministry of Natural Resources, with participation from government ministries and agencies, Amerindian groups, the private sector, and civil society organizations representatives. The VPAs underpin or supported by a timber legality assurance system. In Guyana, the system is called the Guyana Timber Legality Assurance System, also known as the GTLAS. The VPA's key elements with practical steps for implementing the core commitments are detailed and described within its 10 annexes. The VPA has a structure for its implementation known as the Joint Implementation Framework.
The EU delegation and Guyana oversee the implementation of the VPA. They also coordinate implementation activities by other partners such as the European Forest Institute or EFI, through the Asia and Latin America Facility and the Technical Assistance Project, or better known as EFITAP, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations EU FLEC program, the FLEC Facilitation Office led by the FLEC Facilitator, the Forest Governance, Markets and Climate Program Management Support Team, the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, and other relevant support channels to ensure synergies and avoid duplication of efforts.
The Joint Implementation Framework, or JIF, is a tool that provides a framework for monitoring the implementation of the VPA. The JIF focuses on actions that will enable Guyana to export FLEC licensed timber products to the EU. These actions will be monitored through a Joint Monitoring and Review Committee, also known as the JMRC. The JIF stages cover the initialing of the VPA, implementation of the VPA, and include the joint evaluation of the operational readiness of the Guyana Timber Legality Assurance System, or GTLAS. Ongoing reforms and VPA impact monitoring will take place during and after the implementation phase.
The Guyana Timber Legality Assurance System, or the GTLAS, is the mechanism that will verify the legality of timber products produced in Guyana. The system aims to ensure that timber of an illegal or unknown origin do not enter the supply chain so that Guyana's timber products are legal. The GTLAS outlines what legally produced timber is, how to control the supply chain, how to verify legally sourced timber, and how to issue FLEC licenses. It will include compliance checks to assure timber products' legal production regardless of the intended destination market. As such, it establishes a credible legality assurance system for the legal harvesting, transporting, processing, as well as exporting and importing of timber products. Guyana is building and expanding upon its current wood tracking system, or WTS, and other government control system. Presently, the wood tracking system is a tag and paper-based system that enables efficient monitoring of timber products' flow for domestic and international trade. The WTS will be linked to Guyana's legality definition, and the legality definition is based on national laws and regulation and will form a key part of the GTLAS. The GTLAS requires an independent audit to ensure that the system works well.
GTLAS contains procedures to trace and control timber throughout the supply chain. The supply chain begins from the forest where the timber is harvested to its transport, storage, and processing until the point of export. Supply chain controls confirm the origin of wood and wood products at each link of the chain. Logs and processed wood that travels through the chain must be accompanied by documentation. The documentation identifies and confirms the origin of these logs and processed timber. They enable authorities to check that the quantities and types of products at any point in the supply chain are consistent with the chain's last link. All Guyanese producers, processors, and traders, also known as forest sector operators or FSOs, must verify that they comply with the law throughout the chain. Therefore, they are subject to the supply chain controls even if they are only supplying the domestic market. Compliance is therefore an important element in the supply chain and GTLAS. Verification of compliance involves checks to confirm that all the requirements of the VPA legality, definition, and supply chain controls have been met. Guyana's improvement on its existing system will enable verification of compliance. Only shipments verified as legally compliant will be exported to the European Union and any other intended market.
When it is confirmed through the verification mechanism that a consignment of timber products is legally compliant, a FLECT licensing authority will then issue the FLECT license. Therefore, once FLECT licensing begins, a valid FLECT license must accompany all exports to the EU of Guyanese timber-based products. Timber products that can be exported to the EU are listed in Annex 1 of the VPA. Products not listed within the VPA will remain subject to the normal due diligence requirements of the EU timber regulation. A FLECT license is a document that confirms that a shipment of timber or timber products has been legally produced in accordance with the relevant laws. This FLECT license will not be issued for shipments of timber products that have not been legally produced or of unknown origin. Therefore, the EU custom officials will deny entry to any products covered by the VPA that arrive without a valid FLECT license.
However, FLECT licensing cannot begin until a joint EU-Guyana evaluation of the GTLAS confirms that the system works and is fully operational as described in the VPA. The joint evaluation will then report to the Joint Monitoring and Review Committee. Based on the assessment, the committee can then propose Guyana begins issuing FLECT licenses. The independent audit regularly checks that all aspects of the legality assurance system work properly.
Guyana has made considerable efforts to address illegal logging and manage its forests sustainably and continues to do so. In 2000, Guyana introduced the log tracking system to verify forest products' origin and ensure harvesting control in state forests. In 2009, the government launched a low-carbon development strategy that promotes economic development while combating climate change by avoiding deforestation. In 2011, Guyana published a National Forest Policy and National Forest Plan, which it revised in 2018. The new policy and plan value forests as a cornerstone of national patrimony to be managed collectively. In 2016, Guyana ratified the Paris Agreement on Climate Change. Guyana commits to sustainable forest management and forest monitoring. In 2018, Guyana launched the Green State Development Strategy to reorient Guyana's economy towards a diversified, decarbonized, and resource-efficient economy.
Both Guyana and the EU share the goal of fostering good forest governance and addressing illegality. The VPA includes commitments to improve transparency, accountability, legislative clarity, and other aspects of forest governance. It benefits everyone: the government, government agencies, businesses, and a wide range of stakeholders who include all Guyanese, especially those living in forest communities and those who depend on forests. The VPA benefits Guyana by addressing illegal logging, protecting, conserving, and improving the environment, strengthening forest sector governance, building the capacity of the Guyana Forestry Commission and stakeholders to implement the VPA, improving legal compliance among forest sector operators, improving the domestic timber market, by tackling illegal trade, advancing technology to modernize the forest sector, by increasing transparency and accountability in the sector, by improving the country's international reputation as a responsible forest nation, by ensuring access to EU markets, improving access to international timber markets, and promoting economic and social growth.
The VPA ensures harmony, coordination, and cooperation among stakeholders and the international development partner through and by capacity building and multi-stakeholders' participation in decision-making, improving the flow of benefits to the communities by aiming to provide the best opportunities, recognizing the rights and responsibility of stakeholders, users, and operators, including the rights and responsibilities of Amerindians and women, and improving the flow of communication and access to information.
The VPA aims to help smallholders and small or medium enterprises by improving business practices, enabling market expansion and security, strengthening the timber sector's contribution to the national economy within a legal framework, and improving transparency by providing clear guidance on requirements and control procedures.
To learn more about the Guyana EU Flag VPA, visit us on www.forestry.gov.gy. You can also email us at euflagguyana@gmail.com or call us on 226-727124 or 223-5135. Or for more information, also follow us at Guyana EU Flag Journey on Facebook.